Hey Tigers, welcome back to another episode of TSC Talks here on Tiger Sports Central. My name is Jack Slayton, and as always, I'm joined by
Torian Daniels
and Ethan Murphy.
And as you guys saw, we are joined by a very special guest for the first time on today's episode, Mr. Gordon.
Happy to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yep. So, as you guys know, it has been a long time since we've had an episode of TSC Talks, so we have a lot to talk about. And going forward, we have a lot to talk about as well. So we just want to give you a little preview. I'd say over the next couple of weeks, you're going to see more and more basketball content worked into this show. Not only Bardstown boys and girls basketball, but also just the basketball world as a whole. So you're going to see some college and NBA topics brought up. And that's because, unfortunately, football season is coming to an end. So just to give you a little glimpse into how our Bardstown teams are performing. So right now, Bardstown's boys basketball team is 5-7. So Bardstown boys basketball team is looking to up that record a little bit as they head into the postseason. And the girls team is sitting at 7-4. So doing really well there for both Bardstown teams. And I think we're all confident in them as we head into the postseason. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started on some college football. So lots of college football games happen. I'm sure you guys know the outcome of most of them, but now we are down to 4 teams and 2 very important and I'm going to say very contested matchups. There's not one that I think it's just like we all think is going to be a blowout. I think there were a lot of upsets and surprises in the last round. So starting us off, and Mr. Gordon, you can start us off. Okay. Who are you taking in Ole Miss versus Miami in the Fiesta Bowl?
The Fiesta Bowl. I was one of the people that was surprised to see Ole Miss actually. There was a comeback game, right? They came back to win that game against Alabama.
Kinda.
Somewhat. And I was one of the people who also counted Ole Miss out, from losing the coach and just kind of being a mess after Lane Kiffin left that situation. So for them to come out and actually beat, was it Georgia or Alabama? Georgia. So that was all surprising to me. So I'm gonna actually count them out once again and pick Miami. Just because I think eventually that Cinderella dust that's on them right now is going to eventually run out. And I think Miami's been playing really, really well as of late and most of the seasons. I just think Miami's just has a better foundation at the moment and will end up taking that game over Ole Miss.
There you go.
I would also agree with that. I think Miami has a more experienced quarterback in the playoffs and then just more games played. Their Ole Miss quarterback was in D2, I think, last year. So he doesn't really have a lot of experience with that, and I think Ole Miss had a great Cinderella run, but I do think Miami will take this game.
I'm going to go with Miami, too. I think that defensively they're much better than Ole Miss, and I think they match up very well against that offensive line for Ole Miss that has struggled at times against really good defenses, but still, Miami is really special. I think that the only thing that I worry about is Carson Beck. He has had issues in the past in the ACC. But, Trinidad Shameless, like you said, was D2 last year. I think he's kind of overachieving. He's still very good. He might be back next year pending on a decision by a court. But I think that Miami, they ride higher. And I think that ultimately they get the win and advance to the national championship. I don't think anyone thought would happen.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sold on Miami. Like you said, Carson Beck. I mean, we saw that Louisville game. Every team has bad games, but that Louisville game was really bad. We thought Louisville was a little better than they were. After that Miami game, they kind of fell off a cliff, and they did not look good losing to, the Cal Bears and stuff. So I'm going to go with Ole Miss. I think they have more momentum going into this game, and I think I'm rooting for them just because of the Lane Kiffin stuff. Now moving on to the Peach Bowl, where Oregon takes on Indiana.
This one actually is a little tougher for me. I want to say Oregon because Oregon's always been a pretty good program. They always have a lot of talent there. Their jerseys are always really cool as well. I always enjoy that. But I don't know. I think I'm going to pick Indiana just based off of their play this year. I think they've just been so solid all year long. And they just continuing to put out full games every single time they play. So I think it's a close one. I was really close to picking Oregon, but I think that's just old habits die hard because you're used to picking Oregon. but I'm gonna pick Indiana.
I think I'm going to go Oregon here, only because they did play in the regular season, and Indiana did win. So I just really think it's hard to beat a team twice, especially with the stakes they have going right now. So I think Oregon will win this one.
I'm going to go with Oregon. No, I'm going to go with Indiana. I think that, the thing about Oregon is that, like you said, they have a very big talent pool. They always have. They'll never lack recruits. It's just what they've done with their postseason experiences is nothing short of underwhelming. I mean, last year, #1 overall seed, only undefeated team in the country to that point, and they were completely demolished by the eventual national champions. But I think that ultimately this comes down to the most complete team, and overall I think that I trust Indiana's coaching and players along with the staff they have. I mean, they have the Heisman winner, so you can always trust that. I mean, it would have been different if they snuck out against Alabama, but I mean, they dominated practically from start to finish. It was never really remotely a close game, and I think that Oregon's going to have a hard time keeping up with them, both offensively and defensively. They have their work cut out for them.
Yep, absolutely. I think this is a battle between probably the two best quarterbacks as far as like NFL caliber quarterbacks in college football. I'm still behind Indiana. I think Fernando Mendoza, he gets a lot of hype, and I really want him to back that up. So I'm going to go with Indiana, and I think the winner of this game will probably win the national championship. Now, moving on to the National Football League. Last week was Week 18. We saw some heartbreaking eliminations, and we saw some amazing and awesome, like the Steelers, teams clinching the playoffs. And I know everybody's super excited to see the Steelers in there, but we'll talk about that a little later. So we're going to start us off with the first game of Wild Card Weekend, where the Los Angeles Rams will go to Carolina to take on the Panthers.
All right. Does anybody know the Saturday games? Like which games?
They're all in order.
Yep.
Okay. So the Rams and the Packers are Saturday.
The three are Sunday, and then Steelers, Texans on
Okay,
Monday.
gotcha. I'm going Rams. I'm still not a believer. I know Bryce Young has played really well to end this season, but it's still, for me, I've just got to see a longer duration of him playing well. And I also think they lack a lot of talent. They've been playing extremely hard lately. The Panthers have been. And I think they surprised a lot of people and actually, coming back and making it into the playoffs. I just think going up against in my opinion, a stacked Rams team, and I say the word stacked because you've got Devontae Adams on one side and you got Puka on the other side. Those are just two really difficult. And if they're both healthy, which they do, both of them get injured quite a bit. And I know they're coming into the playoffs injured. But I just have a hard time picking against the Rams with those two wide receivers, Matthew Stafford, who I think is one of the best quarterbacks still playing the game right now. He's had a great career, and I've just seen him get better and better each year, which is wild. And then also throwing in Sean McVay, the coach in there, who has coaching experience. I just think that there's too much talent and experience on the Rams for the Panthers to really overcome. I think that might end up being a blowout.
Yeah, I think Rams are going to kill the Panthers, actually. Their running backs already, Kyron Williams and Blake Corum, the GOAT. I think they're going to march into the Panthers' house and kill them, honestly. I don't think it'll be a close game. Bryce Young has no playoff experience. Matthew Stafford has a lot. He's playing an MVP.
I don't know if there's any playoff experience on the Panthers at all, really.
Nowhere, because they suck. They haven't been in playoff in a while.
They do have good young players.
Yeah, for the future, they're probably going to be good. But right now, the Rams are going to kill them. They're better at every position.
I like to categorize the Panthers as a team that overachieved in a division that underachieved.
Doesn't that division have your team in it?
Yeah, I know.
He's including that. Which is, I know it's hard for him to say, but yeah.
If you let me finish, anyway. But you look at the rosters top to bottom in this division. Carolina's is debatably the worst, right behind New Orleans. Atlanta has a pretty stacked roster. They have a good team, and they always seem to have one. They just can never get it done. And then Tampa, of course, started off hot, and then bad coaching. That's about it. Got us out of it. And you can blame injuries, but ultimately, what it comes down to is what have the Carolina Panthers done in the clutch? of the late season. They've lost both games. They had a chance to win this division as early as before we were on break, and they couldn't do it. And I have no faith in them to do something when they're beating a team that's like a co-Super Bowl favorite. I just don't see it happening. I think that the Panthers overachieved. This roster is not very good, and overachieving for them is 8-9. And I think that says a lot about the quality of this team. And you can say I'm hating, you can say I'm upset, but I mean at some point you gotta look at it, and you gotta really understand that I'm coming from a perspective of truly knowing what they're doing, and they won't be back this time next year. I'm gonna say that.
This guy's a hater.
I think that this season has done a lot for them going forward in the future. I think they're going to end up being like a legitimate team going into the future. I think Bryce Young is gaining a lot of confidence out of this like second half of the season. So I think this is just going to get better for them. I don't know. I'm not saying that's going to be a lot, but I do think that they're going to be a better team in the future.
And I mean, you look at it from perspective, every good team they beat, it was like a humongous deal. Mm-hmm. Like Panther fans are still holding on to the fact they beat the Rams in November. Yeah. Oh, we beat the Packers. We beat all of that. So, yeah. I'm not saying, I mean, I just called you a good team. I don't know why you're upset.
Speaking of Packers.
No, I was going to give my point on the Panthers. I mean, I was going to say, of course they should be happy about those wins. Those are big wins over good teams. Beating the
but
Rams,
I'm saying it's a big deal that they won those games.
Of course.
People look at this roster because it's that bad and think, oh my goodness, they actually did that. They actually won that game. What? It was that's literally what it was like.
I think in the regular season, like those games, they were able to capitalize on a couple of trap games. And I am a Packers fan, so I'm not trying to be, big on this, but I think that was a trap game for the Packers. I think you could also say that about when they played the Rams. I think that those were trap games because I don't think anybody really looked at the Panthers as, oh, we need to over-prepare for this team. And I think they were able to capitalize on that and I think some of those were like Bryce Young's best games of his career so far. He was able to put those, which was timely, but yeah, I just don't think they're ready for the playoffs yet.
Yeah, I just think from a team, you have to celebrate those big wins, no matter how you get those wins. I think Carolina beating the Rams, who, like you said, are arguably the co-favorites for the Super Bowl, I think that's a big deal. And I think going into this game, the Panthers, I mean, they already beat them once. Who says they can't beat them again?
Me.
Okay. I do have the Rams. I mean, you look at Vegas, like the odds, or not even the odds, the points. I think the Rams are like 9-point favorites, which is a lot for a playoff team, especially in Carolina. That is a lot. So I am going with the Rams. Next up, we have a big division showdown between the Packers and the Bears. Packers and the Bears, 1-1 split series. Should be Packers all the way, but yeah. Gordon, you want to start us off?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Packers fan, so but I like to think that I'm not an overconfident Packers fan. I like to think that I'm a realist. And I've talked with you guys all season long about how I think the Packers we're still missing some key pieces, and I think we still have some maturing to do, especially in our quarterback position. Also in our coaching, I think we need some experience. So I'm a little worried about this game. And it's not really because I think the Bears are an extremely good team, but I think the Bears have been able to capitalize in chaos at times. I feel that's kind of how Caleb Williams plays. He gets chaotic at times, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. But in his situation, he's been able to make some really key plays in the chaos of a late game when he's scrambling or just, winging the ball down the field and hoping for the best. As Packer fans, we've seen that happen in our favor sometimes with Aaron Rodgers throwing Hail Marys. That last game against the Bears, we kind of saw the same thing in opposite when he threw that deep pass to
DJ.
Yeah, DJ Moore. So I think the chaotic nature of the way the Bears win kind of makes me nervous because you never really know what to expect. They don't necessarily have like one game plan that they go to. Like they're not a run-heavy team, but they can run. They're not a pass-heavy team, but they can pass. And I think their defense is not great, but it is good enough. Like, they can capitalize on being emotional and in the moment. As a Packers fan, I want to pick the Packers, but I will say I am nervous about this game. But I feel like the Packers should win, but I think it could get chaotic and the Bears could take it. But I'm gonna give the Packers a slight edge. I think the Bears are a good team, though. I think they're up and coming. They do have talent. They're starting to figure it out. The coaches really figured out the players now. But yeah, I'm gonna give a slight edge to the Packers there.
I'm quite the opposite. Bear down. We got the Bears winning this one, definitely. I mean,
So you a Bears fan now?
Oh yeah. What are you talking about? We come in here, Ben Johnson as your head coach. I mean, you got something with that. I mean, the series is split 1-1, so it's already going to be a good game. They both beat each other once. Mm-hmm. So, and it's at the Bears, which is, I know y'all might hate the Bears, but Soldier Field playoff, that's a tough environment to play in. Mm-hmm. So I think they really might take the edge just off that alone. So I do think it'll be a close game, maybe like game-winning field goal or something like that.
I think it's going to be a game that, like when I say chaotic, it's going to be like one play is going to win that game. But it could either go. It's either going to be like a deep ball from Jordan Love, or it's going to be a deep ball or a breakaway from Caleb Williams.
Nice little pick six, Jordan Love. That'd be
Which
good.
He does do from time to time.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm gonna make mine quick. I'm gonna give the slight edge to the Packers. I just think that right now, the team that's gonna win this is the Packers. I just think that the Bears are the Bears. I think that franchise and history has a lot to do with that, and then not a lot of those guys have playoff experience, and the Packers don't have great playoff experience. But I just think that Green Bay, if they set the tone early, I don't think Chicago's gonna fare well.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. You look at this series, 1-1. Packers won that Bears game up until that final onside kick. I think the Packers, if they just go out there, do what they do best, and that's just pile points on and prevent the Bears from coming back, it should be a close game. I'm never going to pick against the Packers, but I will go against what a fellow Packers fan has said. I think our quarterbacks I think our quarterback, Jordan Love, there is not another quarterback that I would rather have for that team. I think he's exactly what the Packers need, and I think what we've built around him is great, and I think with Christian Watson coming to form, I think Matthew Golden he has loads of potential. We haven't been using him right, but I think once we get that figured out next season, Packers have a lot to look forward to. Moving on, the Bills at the Jaguars.
I like to think this is going to be a good game. And I think this is another tough one. I think the Jags have been, they've played well all year, but I think it's one of those teams nobody really expected or saw playing well all year long. I've been a part of the party, which I have not been a believer in the quarterback. What's his name? Trevor Lawrence, yeah. I have not been a big believer in him since he's come into the league. I don't feel like I've seen that special quality from him. He's had a really good year. I think the new coach there has done a lot of work with him, and I think it's settled him down a lot. He seems to be playing a lot more confident this year, which has kind of changed into wins for their team, because he's been able to do it with a variety of wide receivers. So it's not like they've been able to just capitalize on one really good player. He's done it with multiple players. And I've sat in the studio and I've listened to Ethan all season long talk about the Bills and how they continue to underachieve once they get to the postseason.
Yeah,
I think it's happened so many times that it's hard to deny. The points that you have brought up, because I would agree with you. They seem to always get there and then stall. So I could see a situation where that happens before, especially since the Jaguars are running hot right now. And once a team starts running hot, especially going into the playoffs, it's tough to stop. I'm going to pick the Bills, but that's not necessarily because of what I've seen. That's just because I feel like it's due time for Josh Allen to put in a really solid run and that would be make it to a Super Bowl, because he's made it to the championship enough times to not get past that lump. So this is that year. I think I feel like the Bills should be able to beat the Jaguars, even though they're coming in hot. But I think that's a tricky game.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this quick. I think the Bills are gonna win this game, but I think next week, I think they're gonna lose. I just think, as Ethan has said, they underperform every year. We see this. They do good for a couple games, and then they really need to win a big one, and they just don't. So I got the Bills, but I don't think they're gonna go far.
Yeah, I'm a rapid fire this. Jags should have every right to win this game. They're by far the better roster. I mean, Josh Allen's throwing to, LA Fitness and people, but it's just the fact that I'm not sure how Trevor Lawrence is going to do in one of his first playoff games. I mean, he had a big comeback in his last one against the Chargers, and so that gives me a little bit of hope. But I think that the only way the Bills will win this is if Josh Allen's good. And this is Josh Allen's chance to win. He doesn't have to face Lamar. He doesn't have to face Mahomes. He doesn't have to face Burrow, the guys he can never beat. And so this is his year. And if he doesn't do that, then we need to have some real questions.
Oh, okay.
Do you not think so?
I don't think we need to have real questions into
so
Josh Allen.
I said the Bills.
Okay, I just heard real questions. I'm sorry. Josh Allen, if the Bills win this, like Ethan said, it's because of Josh Allen. I mean, the Jags, I want to root for them, and honestly, whoever comes out of this game, I'm going to be happy either way. I like both of these teams a lot. I know there's some people here who don't like the Jaguars, and I remember, Mr. Gordon, a few weeks ago, you were like, I don't even want to see Jacksonville in the playoffs.
Yeah, I still don't.
So
I just think they play boring football.
What? They're
Yeah,
legit.
they just play boring football.
I'm going to go with the Bills just because I think this is Josh's year. Now moving on to the 49ers at the Eagles. I'll kick us off. I think this is a game that could go either way. I think, honestly, this might be the NFC Championship, but I'm going to go with the Eagles.
Yeah, I'll rapid fire too. Eagles defense, I think, is going to be the deciding factor. I mean, they have a really, 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 really good defense, and I think that's what wheels them to a win. I just think that the Niners are too injured. Maybe give them a year, give them some health. They can win the whole thing. But I just think right now Philadelphia, they're the reigning champs. They're going to have a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, I would agree with Ethan on that, actually, and Jack. But especially what Ethan said about the defense there, I think the Eagles' defense is going to win this game. I know anything could happen when you have, McCaffrey on your team. He could go off at any point. But I just think the 49ers have kind of overachieved this year. And I think it's going to kind of catch up with them. And I think the problems for the Eagles have not been on the defensive side. They've been on the offensive side. So I think the Eagles' defense is going to win this game.
I'd agree with all y'all. I think the Eagles' defense will win the game. I do think it'll be a low-scoring game, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be a pretty boring defensive game.
But that's really what the Eagles have kind of played.
Yeah, that's what they've won off of
this year, is those boring games.
Yep. Moving on to the Chargers at the Patriots. I'll kick us off. I got the Chargers on this one. I know that's like a big whoa. Here's the deal. The Patriots have one win on a team with a winning record. The Giants have 2 wins over a team with a winning record. So, I mean, just seeing a stat like that, it makes me against the Patriots. It's not necessarily me being for the Chargers. It's just me not thinking the Patriots are going to do very well. So, because of that, I'm going with the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the Chargers were healthy, they came into this, I think it would be a lot better of a game. I just think that New England, they're riding high against a very, very winnable matchup. I mean, the O-line is really, really bad for Los Angeles, and I think they take it easily, but, maybe you get some help. This could be a rematch, and it can go the other way. But I've got the Patriots.
Yeah, I would kind of second that. I think if the Chargers were fully healthy, I would say the Chargers. But I think I'm pretty impressed with the Patriots coaching staff, and I think the coaching staff is going to be able to set up a good game plan to attack what the Chargers are, where the Chargers are injured at right now. And I think they're going to be able to capitalize on that. And I just see the Chargers being a little too much chaos, happening there, a little too sloppy because of the injuries. So I think the Chargers are a good team when healthy, but they're too injured right now to really put together a long run. So I think the Patriots are going to put together a good game plan and win.
Yeah, Chargers O-line is like dumpster fire right now. So I think if Patriots get to Justin Herbert, they'll be good. and I think the Patriots will probably win this game.
Yep. All right. Last but not least, the Texans at the Steelers. I'm going with the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers is like one of my favorite players of all time. I love Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers is such a great quarterback and so good at everything. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to lead the Steelers to a victory over Houston.
The Steelers' offense is very, very predictable. It's not good, and they're going up against probably the worst matchup for that, and that's a spectacular defense. I got Houston in a game that's not remotely close.
I'm actually going to say that this game is the one I'm least excited about watching because I think
Probably
it's just going to be a gross game.
Not me.
Yeah, we know. Figure.
But I think I think Rodgers is just too old, and I think the Texans' defense is going to capitalize on his inability to move because that defense has gotten really, really tough by the end of the year. I haven't been that impressed with the Texans all year, but I do think they're going to capitalize on Rodgers being out of his prime and win this game.
That defense is going to kill Aaron Rodgers. This might be his last game because, the way they're about to get to him, he's not going to be able to move. Like, he's just going to be sitting in that pocket, blindside, and he's out forever. So, I think the Texans are going to kill them. I think it's not going to be a close game. It's going to be a very boring game. Nobody wanted to see Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers in this playoffs. I promise you.
I did.
Yeah, we know. You're freaking holding them right now.
Me, yeah.
But, nobody wanted to see it. Everybody wanted to see that field goal go right down the middle.
Not me.
But if we had Texans-Ravens, we'd be over here hyping this matchup
that'd feed
up.
family.
Right? Yeah, we'd be like, oh, this is the game we want to watch. But it's the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers, 88 years old, about to get decapitated.
Nah, he's not 88. He's more like 40-something.
That's like Gordon out there trying to pass that ball. Texans defense is going to kill
And let me
them.
tell you, if I got hit by one of them, I would not get up.
Well,
Yes.
what's special about Aaron is he will get up,
God.
and he is going
Get
to
it
lead.
out your
He is going to lead the Steelers to a victory.
Golly.
Unfortunately, that is all the time we had for today's episode. As always, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we cannot wait to see you on episode 25 later this week.